Hey Piyush, hi, welcome to our first series of Prax Convos. Thanks so much for taking out the time to talk to us. It's always wonderful chit-chatting with you. And I think my first question to you is, how are companies at this stage, across the whole TI technology internet spectrum, looking to kickstart their operations and more specific to you guys? What's been happening for the past couple of weeks, and what do you guys, what do you envisage will happen sort of going ahead?
From a operation perspective, of course, I think what we have done is ensure that safety of life is sort of taken care of across, and we have been working hard towards ensuring everybody is either working from home and still managing we have done some unique work with our people in the stores in our plant to ensure they can still work, but while sitting at home or either quarantine in a particular area. As far as internet commerce is concerned, I definitely think it's probably the right time for internet commerce to go up. And while I think there may be this short-term blip, but moving forward, I think we have been trying to create that habit in India, and billions of dollars have been spent to create that habit in India through discounting or different forms. And I still remember at demonetization, when it happened, it automatically naturally lent itself towards digital payments. So I think that sort of phenomena will happen. People who are not buying online, they would not need a discount right now to give this a shot, and they would definitely give this a shot, and that would bring a lot of new online buyers into the ecosystem. For a category like ours, which is a little bit more engaging, and similar other categories, I think that we are already noticing also that resistance towards saying no, I will wait and I'll just go to a store and buy it instead of ordering it online. We are seeing that behavior change already in the ecosystem, that people who were earlier not open to this, or they thought that they had an alternate option, are today saying, okay, let me give it a shot, and they're all obviously pleasantly surprised. I don't think anybody has doubts about e-commerce in terms of what it can deliver. The issue always comes in people really giving it a shot.
How do you think this whole essential versus non-essential businesses and categories will behave? We are seeing that grocery, etc., which is still been running at a, let's say, 100% capacity of what it was pre-COVID, but the non-essential is completely vanished, right? And there are two things about it. One is the regulations, but also the supply of people, right? And the supply chains and the delivery boys, etc. So what's happening behind that is, do sort of e-commerce companies have the necessary supply to like fulfill the entire, essential plus non-essential assortment? How do you think this will pan out going ahead?
See, the challenge is that, because of the lockdown, it's also not that easy to build supply chain right now, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is supply, if it is. So people will have to find innovative ways, and it will be a little bit of that jugaad you will need to do to create that supply chain. If, to give you our own example, if, we build a 2 lakh square feet facility in a normal scenario. And in this case, that luxury may not be available to go find and take 12 months to build a facility. And so you'll have to do a little bit of, mid-term approach where you'll open maybe 10, 20,000 square feet facilities in green zones to hedge the risk, and something quick and dirty where you can turn around things. I think also in terms of, I think supply chain can be created. It is just a matter of, how agile you are, and you'll have to leave out some of your past styles of working. And you'll have to be flexible around how you do it. But supplies, I think, and companies who do that are going to emerge winners out at this time.
And talking a little bit about supply chain, what we are seeing is national, efficient, and scale supply chains, have suffered much more than, let's say, very localized supply chain which operating in a specific city or a state, and they, while the latter has still continued to at least maintain 60-70% of their deliveries, irrespective of whatever category they are in. The former have completely dissipated. We look at Amazon, we look at Flipkart, and even in cities where non-essentials are allowed, still they're not able to deliver. They're not even able to take orders of non-essentials. We seeing that. So do you think there is going to be a shift in the way supply chains are structured, with more localization and less sort of nationalization and, scale planning and efficient planning? How will this pan out?
There could be localization, but I also think it's a matter of time, right? And these things will open up. I do think cargo, particularly, even intercity cargo, is not going to be. I mean, we are today allowing things which are far more, I would say, riskier than cargo right now. And movement of cargo intercity, and today Blue Dart is operational, DHL is operational, UPS is operational, and I don't necessarily, and from whatever I've read, the movement of cargo is not particularly the the highest risk item right now as far as corona spread is concerned. So while I think in the short term intercity supply chain will make a difference, but I think on the other hand, having too much distributed supply chain hedges risk. On the other hand, could become very difficult for you to manage also in certain time, and doing it across multiple cities, because you may not be able to travel yourself, you may not be able to send your central management team to these different centers.
Yeah.
So it's a tricky situation. I think I am of the view that delivery times could take slightly longer because of surface being more prevalent than air. But I think consumer expectations are also changing there. What they expected earlier in 2 days, they may be okay waiting for 4-5 days and still getting that. But I think the key will right now not necessarily, while I do think intercity definitely helps and localization helps, but I think right now creating safe supply chain is more important than necessarily thinking about whether it needs to be distributed, because that also brings a level of complexity to manage safety. The more centers you will have, the more risk you carry in terms of adhering to the standards of this thing. Whereas, when you have more contained areas, you could follow the process much more strictly. So it's a pros and cons, I think. But what I have seen over the last 40 days, supply chain, the logistics has definitely improved. When we started delivering glasses, we were not able to deliver anything beyond Delhi, and today we are able to touch almost 20,000 pin codes. And maybe a Bangalore packet, which was earlier going next day, is taking 4 days. But I think it's still better than, going out right now.
Wonderful talking to you. Thanks so much for taking out the time, and wish you all the health and all the best to you, your family, your friends, your colleagues, everyone, your loved ones.